Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Planet for Tech. I hope you all are doing great and learning lots by watching all the continuous episode of this series Python Beginner to Master. So guys, till now we have completed 18th episode of this series and today in the 19th episode I am going to describe you the new topic that is the inheritance. So this is the very common and you can say the popular topic because this is mostly available in all the programming languages. So this is the one of the OOPS concept you can say. So OOPS means nothing but the object oriented programming concepts. So this is one of the most famous concept of OOPS. So and with the help of this we can reduce the code complexity and it is very you can so it provide our common model to common model of hierarchy to create the classes and to use the existing features of the parent class. So those all we are going to discuss in this episode. So now let's start it. So the first question comes in our mind is what is inheritance? So this is the theoretical part you can see here. So inheritance is nothing but it is the ability. So you have to make a note here like inheritance is nothing but it is the ability of any class to extract and use the feature of other classes. So guys, this line you have to make a note. Inheritance is nothing but it is the ability of the particular class by which that class can extract and use the features of another class. So that feature is known as the inheritance here. So here you can see it is the basic concepts here that a programmer is able to use the feature of one class into another without declaring or defining the same thing again and again in a different classes. So we don't need to define the same thing again and again in all the classes. We can define the concept in one of the class and we can use it in other classes. So that is called as inheritance here. It is similar like to like what our grandparents have the some features, so few features so we just inherit from our parents. So that this is called up the inheritance you can say in a real life. So the same thing we are going to understand in the programming. Now you can see so instead of writing the member function, so guys I have already described you the member functions and the data member in a previous episode. If you have not till yet watched, so don't forget to watch it. I am going to add the link of the previous episode in the top of this screen, so you can find it there and you can watch it if you haven't watched, because that episode is you can say the mandatory for one who are new to this programming. So that before understanding the inheritance you have to understand like what is the class, what is the object. So those you will find in the previous episode of this series itself. Now you can see, now here you can see instead of writing the member function during the every class declaration, we can inherit those from the base class. Now what this base class is? So guys, you can see here the new terms comes here base class. The question again comes in mind like what is the base class? So you can see here we are going to understand base class and subclass and the child class, those all in the next. After that you can see inheritance is one of the most important features. So this is what I have already told you, like there are lots of concept in the OOPS or object oriented programming. One of them, the most famous is what, that is the inheritance. So inheritance is one of the most important feature of object oriented programming here. Now, now just see what this child class and the base class, these terms we oftenly not oftenly we frequently heard this terminology like what is the subclass, child class, derived class. So those we are going to make it clear in this episode itself. So stay tuned and just see what uh, so here you can see the subclass, child class, and the derived class. So these three names are same. Subclass, child class, and derived class. These all three are same. In the similar way, there is a superclass, parent class, and the base class. So these all are three same. So you don't have to confuse while programming, while working in any project. So superclass, parent class, and base class. These three all are same, and the same way subclass, child class, and the derived class, all these three are same. So let me show you one diagram here, then you can understand it better way. Let's suppose you have one class. That class is nothing but the vehicle, And we know like in our real world there are lots of vehicle available, but all of the vehicle are having few features similar. Like every vehicles are going to have few number of wheels, and they are going to have the gears, and they are going to have a mirror and steering, and you can say the brake. So the few components are there which are very common in all the vehicles. So what happens here? So let's suppose you have to create one vehicle, that is the car. So we know like this car is having this much features which is similar to in other vehicle as well. So you can see here, so we have to create one vehicle class that will be the base class, parent class, whatever you can call it here. So you can call it super class as well. So that base class we are going to create, and on the basis of that base class, we are going to define all the common features what our vehicles are going to have. So those common features we will define in the base class itself, and we will inherit this base class, and we will create another class that will be the child class. So guys, here you can see this child class is just inheriting the base class. What it means? It means all the features of the base class is going to be available in the child class as well. So this is the concept about the inheritance. So this is the place where inheritance comes its role. So you can see here. So whatever we have defined in the base class or parent class or child or super class, that is going to be available for the child classes as well. So this is about the definition of the inheritance and the terminology, subclass, child class, and the derived class. So in the diagram, you can see here this vehicle is nothing but what? Superclass, parent class, and the base class. Then what about this car class? So this car is nothing but the child class, or you can say subclass, child class, or the derived class. So this is about the inheritance of diagram. Now let me show you the why we need the inheritance. If we are not using the inheritance, then what problem we are going to face? So that we are going to understand by one example. Let me show you here. So I believe you can see my screen, guys. So here you can see why we use the inheritance. So the single line option, the single line answer is this one. So there are lots of answer you will find in the internet, and those are pointing to the same objective that what I have mentioned here in the reduced format. So you can see here, this is the main objective of the inheritance. What this is? To reduce the code complexity. Here we are going to reduce the code complexity and to increase the code reusability. So guys, you have to make a note this one here. What we are reducing? We are reducing the code complexity, and what we are increasing? We are increasing the code reusability. So there is two terms: code reusability and code complexity. Code complexity means we are writing same code again and again just to make the program bulky. And code reusability means what? We are writing the code once place, and we are using it again and again to make the program thinner, not the bulky. So we don't want the fatty or bulky program. We want the thinner or slim program that is going to execute in a faster, and it is just maintaining the code structure or organization as well. So this is the main objective of the inheritance. One more time, let me repeat it: to reduce the code complexity and to increase the reusability, we use what? That is the inheritance. So this line, guys, you have to make a note: to reduce the code complexity and to increase the code reusability. We use the concept of OOPS, that is the nothing but inheritance here. So this is the main objective of using the inheritance. Now let me show you how we can justify this line here. So let's consider a class of vehicles. So suppose we have a one class that is vehicles, and we know every vehicles like bus or car or truck, etc., they all are going to have few methods. So those methods are what? Fuel amount. So obviously vehicles, bus, car, and truck are going to have few amounts of fuel, and they will have their own capacity of car and the bus and truck. We can't compare because the capacity of truck is obviously the greater than the bus and car. So here you can see though they are all having the different capacity, but they are having the capacity. Now the next point is apply brakes. So the way of applying brake is common, but the effect of applying brake is different in all car, bus, and truck. So we can see here, so these are the methods which are common in all the vehicles like bus, truck and car, and you can see the will be the same for all the vehicles. So if we create if we create these classes, what classes? Bus, car and truck. If we are going to create these classes bus, car and truck without the knowledge of inheritance, then we might do it the way as I have already shown in here in diagram. So let's suppose you are not aware about the inheritance and you just going to create the these classes. So what you will do? You will create one class for car and you will define these methods for car. Again, you are going to create the class for bus and you are going to define the same methods. Guys, here the point you have to see. We are going to define same method in the car and the bus and the same in the truck as well. So this is the place where you have to think like we are doing the same thing in all the classes. Now, what will happen if you are going to apply this in a large project and this is happening in 1,000 times? So first time at the time of development you can do it, no doubt you can do it. But what happens once the project owner is going to say you like you have to change this particular method for all the classes, so that time it becomes very tedious because you need to know like how many times you have to use you have used these classes in what places. So every places you have to go and you have to modify the definition of that. So this is the place where where your mind will think like there should be an approach. That approach is nothing but I will apply the update at one place and it is going to be reflected on all the places. So this is the place, this is the need of that concept. That concept is nothing but the inheritance you can say here. So here the inheritance is coming the play. Here the inheritance playing its role. Now let's see if we are solving this problem by using the inheritance. So what will be the diagram here? You can see here. So once you know the inheritance, so after that definitely you will write the code like this. So what we will do, we will write one class for the vehicle and that vehicle is going to have these three methods, and we will create three child classes on the basis of this vehicle: class car, class bus, class trucks. Now what happened, we all know like these all three classes are going to have these three methods definitely, and but the way of their usage is might be different, but uh, it is common like these methods are going to be have in all the classes. So in the future, let's suppose the project owner is saying to change some changes in the fuel amount method. So this time you have to apply it in a single place, that is the parent class in a vehicle. No matter how many times you have used this method in what places, because we are very much sure we have followed the pattern of inheritance. So definitely if we are going to change it at one place, so it will get reflected in other classes as well. So this is the place, guys. You can see here now the line is justified. What it is justifying that it reduces the code complexity, and it is increases the code reusability. So this code we have written once and we are reusing it multiple times, and we have written it in a single place, so it is easy to manage it and it is easy to update it in the future as well. That is why it is reducing the complexity. So guys, I hope it is clear to all like how we can justify this line. So the line is nothing but to reduce the code complexity and to increase the code reusability. One more time, to reduce the code complexity and increase the code reusability, we use what that concept is called as inheritance. This is the most common feature of object oriented programming language. So this is also supported by the Python, because we know like Python is a object oriented programming language. Now come to the next point. Now the next point is type of inheritance. So we are going to understand the how many types of inheritance are there. So basically there are four type of inheritance. You can see here the first one is the single label inheritance. What it means, as its name suggests, single label means we are going to sorry, the spelling is wrong. Single label means the class B is inheriting the class A. So this is only single label. This means only one class is using the parent class, that is the single label. And in case of multi-level, definitely there will be hierarchy, you can say. It is not exactly the hierarchy, it is the chaining, you can say. So here you can say class A is being used by the class B and class B is inherited by the class C. So this is kind of chaining you can say. So it is multi-level, and there is another most important type of the inheritance, the multiple inheritance. So this is what in the multiple inheritance we are going to have a single class, that is class B, which is able to inherit more than one class. So here in this example, you can see class B is inheriting class A as well as class B is inheriting the class C. So single class B is inheriting more than one class. That is why it is called as the multiple inheritance. Now come to the next important, that is the tree or hierarchical you can say, or you can say it as a hybrid. This is also known as the hybrid inheritance. So what this is? So here you can see the structure kind of looking like a tree. That is why it is called as tree and hierarchical and hybrid as well, because you can see here when we are talking about the class and class B, so it seems like it is a single label. But when we are talking about in the whole diagram, class B is inheriting the class A and class C is also inheriting the A and class D is doing the same. So in a whole way, you can say like the class A is more commonly used in the B and C and D. So this is having three types you can say here. It is using the single label and the tree label as well, so that is why it is known as the hybrid type of inheritance. So this all is the about of the like there are how many types of the inheritance. Now let me talk about the type which is supported by the Python. So in the Python all the type of inheritance is supported here. So you can see in the Python, it supports all the type of inheritance. Like in other programming language like Java and you can say the PHP. So Java and PHP not support the multiple inheritance. So there we have another concept like the uh, interface. So that we use in a Java, and there is a trait that we use in a PHP. So those are different concepts. So we are not going to discuss on that because those are already covered in their own respective playlist, Java and the PHP. But here in the Python, it support the multiple inheritance, so it is more powerful than other programming language in terms of only inheritance. Now let's see all these concepts one by one in a practical way. So instead of making this video very lengthy, I am going to create one more episode. In that, I'm going to describe you this concept in a practical way. I'm going to create all these classes and inheritance. I'm going to show you that there with a suitable example. So for this episode, this much, guys. And one last information, or you can say the favor, what I'm expecting. So if you are new to this channel, so don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any query or question, so you can ask in the comment section, and don't hesitate to ask in our WhatsApp number as well, because I have mentioned my WhatsApp number there. So you can ask whatever query you have in the WhatsApp number. And one more information I want to update you, like we are available almost in all the social platforms, so you can search our name Planet for Tech, and you can see our logo there. So you can join our group and channels there in the other social platform like the Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, other places as well, LinkedIn as well. And recently we have launched our Android app and the iOS app. So you can find those in a Play Store and App Store also. But if you want a link, so you can follow our website. That is nothing but, so you can visit our website as well. So that website is planetfortech.com. So there you can find in the bottom section you will find the uh, link for those apps. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching and supporting us a lot. Thank you.